Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3 has ignited the secondary market, so we're going to look at the top 25 hottest cards this week. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now, you can pre-order Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed products as well as Bloomborough on their website, or find a vast number of other great products. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look at the description or comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, and we have a lot to discuss. Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3 has made a ton of cards jump after this weekend's coverage, so we are doing an extended video this week looking at the top 25, like I said, during the cold open. There's a lot here, so I do want to get into it, but a couple things really quick. First off, as always, our hot list is based on two things. We want to see a percentage increase in the value of these cards, but we also want to see a true increase in the number of sales from week to week. Also, before we begin, I do want to say thank you to one of the viewers who gave a super thanks tip last week, and that was Todd Branch. Todd, thank you for all your support for the channel. Todd's a patron and has given us a number of generous tips over the months. It really does help the channel more than I can even tell you. Thank you, Todd, for that support again. And also, I do want to say thank you to one of our Legend Tier channel members, and that is Miguel Almendras. Miguel, thank you for your support. Being a channel member also means the world, helps us so much. And Miguel always leaves great comments, stops by the live premieres and says hi. All of it's appreciated, Miguel. Thank you very much. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 25 is Mana Maze from Invasion, up 202 to 541. That's a 60% increase. The idea here is that some players may want this card to upgrade the Modern Horizons 3 Eldrazi Incursion commander deck, while others want it for fresh builds around a couple cards from there. The front-facing commander Ulek Fused Atrocity, as well as Azlask the Swelling Scourge. Playing colorless or devoid spells with Mana Maze in play would give you an advantage over most opponents. However, in practice, I'm not seeing Mana Maze show up in many deck lists, so the price spike may be more due to speculation than actual gameplay. Our number 24 card is Elegant Parlor. It goes up 210 to 680 for a 45% increase. This land is all over Modern right now. Most decks that run it use a copy or two, but it's in a lot of builds, including some popular ones that had a lot of exposure at the Pro Tour, including Boros Energy, Ruby Storm, and Jeskai Control. In fact, a Jeskai Control deck running a copy of this made it to the quarterfinals this past weekend. Elegant Parlor can also be seen in Pioneer Jeskai Indomitable Creativity, and it's making its mark in Commander 2. It's showing up in a bunch of different builds there, including new ones. Some players want it to upgrade the Modern Horizons 3 Creative Energy deck. Others want it for fresh builds around the front-facing commander from there, Satya Aetherflux Genius, but I'm also seeing Elegant Parlor and builds around a card from the main set, Ajani Nikado Pariah. Plus, it's been in early deck lists around a couple cards previewed from MTG Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed. Those cards are Cassandra Eaglebearer and Altair Ibn Lahad. At the end of the day, Modern is the key driver this week, but keep an eye on Elegant Parlor and similar lands in the long term. Number 23 is Flesh Duplicate, up 223 to 1333. That's a 20% increase. This is from the Doctor Who Timey-Wimey Commander deck. Why is it hot now? It has been seeing an increase in Commander play around a Modern Horizons 3 card that has been a very popular new Commander. That card is Nadu Winged Wisdom. Number 22 is Thalia and the Gitrog Monster, up 233 to 1021. That is a 30% increase. This was number 15 last week, and here we have a popular commander. It's also in the 99 of several decks there as well. Builds around this card are getting a boost now, though, due to some cards from Modern Horizons 3, including this one here, the Necrobloom. Additionally, you are seeing Thalia and the Gitrog Monster show up in decks where the Necrobloom is the commander, and that's why the card's hot. Number 21 is Crystal Spray, up $260 to $17 for an 18% increase. You might remember back at the start of May, the professor from Tellurian Community College made a video with Sam from Mystic Studies highlighting a single deck casual format known as Forgetful Fish. This format is a fun way to play a quick game in between rounds at a tournament, and the additional exposure led to a lot of new interest. The Crystal Spray is being filled, or rather, it's filling some of those Forgetful Fish decks. Now, it was not used in the build featured on Tellurian Community College, but nevertheless, it is still a popular choice for those decks. The reason it's still hot, even though other Forgetful Fish cards have slowed down, has to do with the fact that there's only one printing of this card, and it's almost 24 years old. Our number 20 card is Detritivore. This is up 264 to 444 for a 147% increase. It is seeing more play in Commander now thanks to Modern Horizons 3. It is a good upgrade to the Graveyard Overdrive Commander deck, and some want it for fresh builds around the front-facing Commander from there, Disa the Restless. Coming in at number 19 is Through the Breach, the Ultimate Masters copy of 268 to 503. That is a 114% increase. And the Champions of Kamigawa copy is up 285 to 580. That's a 97% increase. So this has seen a small increase in Commander play around a card from Modern Horizons 3. That is Hurragast Erupting Nullkite. You also see Through the Breach and Legacy Sneak and Breach, but the real story here again is Modern. There is a new version of the Modern Through the Breach deck running a bunch of new cards from Modern Horizons 3, and the deck has been fairly popular. Some of the new key cards in the build include Devourer of Destiny, Ulamog the Defiler, and Sowing Mycospawn. Number 18 is Force of Despair, up 294 to 885. That's a 50% increase. This has seen some increased Commander play recently. Some wanted to upgrade the Modern Horizons 3 Graveyard Overdrive Commander deck, while others have picked it up for fresh builds around Korim the Undertaker from there. The big catalyst for Force of Despair's spike, though, is again Modern. The card has been showing up in some of the new Mono Black Necro decks in both the main and the sideboard. The builds revolve around a new card, Necro Dominance, and we saw a good amount of players using variations of it at Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3. In fact, 2 of these decks made it to the quarterfinals, but only one was actually running Force of Despair. Additionally, Force of Despair is showing up in the new Mardu Midrange Modern deck too, which has been seeing a lot of play. That deck runs Modern Horizons 3 cards like Guide of Souls, Ajani Nakatl Pariah, Sorin House of Markov, and Flage, Titan of Fire's Fury. The number 17 card is Spreading Plague, up 351 to 1998. That's a 21% increase. Another older card that is yet to be reprinted. You might remember that it was our number 13th hottest card 2 weeks ago, and it was number 8 last week. Now, it wasn't seeing much play until recently when some wanted to get this to upgrade the Eldrazi Incursion deck, while other players wanted to put it in new Commander builds around a couple cards from there, Ulek Fused Atrocity and Azlask the Swelling Scourge. Like Mana Maze, Spreading Plague quickly becomes one-sided when you have colorless creatures and creatures with Devoid. Number 16 is Wrath of the Skies. It goes up 366 to 744. That's a 97% increase. This new card is getting a lot of play in several formats. In Commander, it's a good upgrade to the Creative Energy deck, plus it's good in fresh builds around Satya Aetherflux Genius. But let's talk about Legacy. I have seen this appearing at times in sideboards of builds like Orzhov Stoneblade, Band Control, and Mono White Stoneblade. Modern, though, is the key driver for Wrath of the Skies this week, too. You find this in the main and sideboards of a bunch of decks there right now. The most popular one is Jeskai Control. In fact, the version of the deck that made it to the Pro Tour quarterfinals this past weekend was running 3 copies of Wrath of the Skies in the main and 1 in the sideboard. Additionally, a couple other Modern builds gaining momentum have been using it, like Goryo's Vengeance and Omnith. That takes us to number 15 and Reverence, up 370 to 717 for a 107% increase. This is the only printing of the card, and it is seeing more Commander play now around a card from Modern Horizons 3. The one I'm referring to is Kudo King Among Bears, and the combo is pretty self-explanatory. Number 14 is Vengevine, the Ultimate Masters copy of 296 to 991. That's a 43% increase. The Rise of the Eldrazi copy of 328 to 1167. That's a 39% increase. And the Double Masters copies of 408 to 946 for a 76% increase. So this is a 4 of in Modern Crabvine and Oops All Spells. There's also 4 of these in Vintage Countervine. But the reason this card spiked is because a pro player put out a fake deck list prior to the Pro Tour of a deck running Vengevine and Echo of Eons. This bit of misdirection resulted in Vengevine's spike. And here we are at lucky number 13, Spawnbed Protector of 459 to 958. That's a 92% increase. This is from the Modern Horizons 3 Eldrazi Incursion deck. It's in fresh builds around a couple familiar cards from the pre-con, Ulek Fused Atrocity and Azlask the Swelling Scourge. Spawnbed Protector is also seeing play in some other Commander builds, both old and new, like Zulodok Voidgorger, for example. Plus, I am seeing it in deck lists around one of the new cards previewed from MTG Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed, and that is the Capitani Triad. Number 12 is Lord of the Unreal. This is up 473 this week to 788. That is a 150% increase. Here's another card that only has one printing, and this one is spiking because it is seeing more Commander play now. Some players want it to upgrade the Modern Horizons 3 Tricky Terrain Commander deck, while others are getting it for new builds around the front-facing Commander from there. Omo, Queen of Vesuva. Our number 11 card is Conspiracy. The Mercadian Mask copy is up 270 to 809. That is a 50% increase. The Time Spiral Time Shifted copy is up 519 to 1050. That's a 98% increase. Looks good on paper, but beware of this one. It is getting reprinted in the MTG Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed product. It's still moving up though, because in the meantime, players do want this to upgrade the Modern Horizons 3 Graveyard Overdrive Commander deck. Others are grabbing it for fresh builds around the front-facing Commander, Disa the Restless. I have seen some getting Conspiracy to upgrade Eldrazi Incursion as well, while other players want it for new builds around Azlask the Swelling Scourge. Also, since Conspiracy will play well with Assassins, it is appearing in early deck lists around cards from Assassin's Creed like Edward Kenway, Ezio Auditore da Frenzy, and Altair Ibn La Ahad. Just a quick reminder before we hit our top 10, this video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com. They have a ton of great MTG products there. They have other things outside of Magic as well, like Lorcana, and you can now pre-order Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed products on their website. You can also pre-order Bloomburrow there. Remember, if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping is free in the United States. Also, if you're looking for a direct link to their site, just check out the comments or the description below. I have direct links posted in both of those places. And now, without any further ado, let's get to the top 10. Coming in at number 10 is Sun Cleanser. This is up $5.53 to $6 for a 1,177% increase if you're doing the math at home. This one print wonder has quickly become a modern sideboard option to remove energy counters. The Bant Nadu decks are using it, for example. In fact, all four of the Bant Nadu builds in the top 8 to Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3 ran the card, including the deck that won the whole tournament. The second place deck was actually running a copy in the main. As long as energy remains a modern threat, this card will be sought after. If the meta shifts away from energy at some point, this will drop quickly. Number 9, Dosin the Falling Leaf, of $9.29 to $34.99. That's a 36% increase. This is an older card that is yet to be reprinted, and it was number 5 on the hot list last week. It's another card jumping because of Modern Horizons 3. Some want this to upgrade the Graveyard Overdrive Commander deck, while others have picked it up for fresh builds around Koram the Undertaker from there. It is also showing up in Commander decks around a couple cards from the main set, Nadu Winged Wisdom, and to a lesser degree, Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. Coming in at number 8 is Echo of Eons. This is up $11.38 to $34.35. That's a 50% increase. It's a good legacy card found in Beseech Storm, the Epic Gamble, the Epic Storm, and 4-color artifacts. Echoes also see some Commander playing different decks, but this is another card that is spiking because of that Vegevine meme deck that many believed would appear at the Pro Tour. Coming in at number 7 is Emrakul, the Promised End from Eldritch Moon. This goes up $15.34 to $81.89 for a 23% increase. This has always seen a good amount of play. It's in Pioneer Nykthos Ramp, but in recent years the format where it has seen the most play has been Commander. It was often in Zuladak Voidgorger, for example. Now, as you could imagine, it's getting even more Commander play thanks to Modern Horizons 3. It's a good upgrade to the Eldrazi Incursion deck, and it's in fresh builds around Ulek Fused Atrocity and Azlask the Swelling Scourge from there. Plus, it's in Commander builds around cards from the main set, like Hiragast Erupting Hellkite and Ulamog the Defiler. Number 6, Umbral Mantle, the Mystery Booster copy up $8.20 to $23.15. That's a 55% increase. The Shadowmoor copy up $16.99 to $31.23. That's a 119% increase. This was number 11 on the hot list last week. It has seen play in several Commander builds, like Krenko Mob Boss, for example. Now it's spiking though because it is equipment with 0 for the equip cost, which means players want this to add to their new Nadu Winged Wisdom Commander decks. To a lesser degree, some are putting Umbral Mantle and Commander builds around another new card too. That is Eladamri Corvectil, but really it's Nadu moving the price this week. Coming in at number 5 is Trinisphere, the Dark Steel copy of 1306 to 5455. That's a 31% increase. The Double Masters copy of 1706 to 4237. That's a 67% increase. This was number 2 on the hot list last week. The card has become highly sought after thanks to Modern Horizons 3. Basically, the set has encouraged many to play big cards and big spells. Decks running things like that want Trinisphere to slow down their opponents. In fact, the new Modern Tron deck has 4 copies of this in the main. Other Modern decks are using some copies in their sideboards, like Through the Breach, Eldrazi Tron, Mono Green Tron, and Nykthos Leyline. Remember too, another popular new build in the Modern format is Ruby Storm. Trinisphere can really derail that deck strategy, so many Modern players are trying to snag copies now because of that deck, if for no other reason. Although it is worth noting that Trinisphere did not show up in any of the decks in the Pro Tour Top 8 this past weekend. The card also continues to see extensive play in many builds in both Legacy and Vintage. In Legacy, the most popular deck running it is Mono Red Prison. Those usually run 3 copies in the main. In Vintage, the most popular one is Jewel Shops, which runs 1 in the main since it is restricted to 1 copy in that format, remember. Trinisphere even gets some commander play in a variety of builds, including Urzalord High Artificer at times. Overall though, Modern is the key driver for this most recent spike. Our number 4 card this week is Snapcaster Mage, the Ultimate Masters copy of 910 to 2999. That's a 44% increase. The Modern Masters 2017 copy up 1132 to 2940. That is a 63% increase. The Innistrad copy up 1371 to 3356. That's a 69% increase. And the one from the list is up 1719 to 3410 for a 102% increase. All right. Snapcaster is seeing a resurgence as part of the Izzet, Jeskai, and Grixis control builds right now in this new Modern meta. Although the Jeskai control deck in the Pro Tour Top 8 this past weekend was not running the card. In Legacy, you do see it in Grixis control and Esper Stoneblade. In Vintage, sometimes it's in Sultai midrange. Plus, Snapcaster is seeing some additional commander play now too, and some builds around Tamiyo Inquisitive Student from Modern Horizons 3. Coming in at number 3 is the One Ring, up $19.69 to $129.58 for an 18% increase. This is basically in every Modern deck now. Only one of the top 8 decks in Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3 was not running this card. That was one of the Mono Black Necro builds, but the vast majority of decks in the tournament were running multiple copies of this. It's just simply a staple in the format and almost a necessity if you want to play Modern. Some of the big decks running it include Tron, Amulet Titan, Jeskai Control, Through the Breach, Bant Nadu, Omnith, Azorius Control, and more. You see it in a bunch of Legacy decks too, the most popular ones being Mono Red Prison, Mystic Forge, Combo, and Sneak and Show. In Vintage, it appears in Jewel Shops. And yeah, it's all over Commander 2. It's getting more play in new decks there. It's a good upgrade to Eldrazi Incursion. You see it in fresh builds around Ulak Fused Atrocity from there. The One Ring is also in decks around Nadu Winged Wisdom from the main set. Remember too, because of its ties to Lord of the Rings, the One Ring is a harder card for Wizards to reprint. Eventually, I'm sure it's going to happen in some form, perhaps as an alternate MTG Universe card, but who knows when that will be. Our number 2 card this week is Crom, Ludwig's Opus. This is up $43.40 to $55.99 for a 345% increase. This is the foil copy from the Commander 2016 Stalwart Unity deck. The only other printing of this is as a Commander Legends etched foil, so it's getting a little harder to find in the secondary market. This week, copies really dried up online. It appears to have been targeted for a buyout. Crom sees a fair amount of traditional Commander play, usually as a partner commander with Timna the Weaver, but you also see that partner pair used often in competitive EDH as well. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Soul Spike. This is up $50 to $80 for a 167% increase. This one print wonder was number 4 on the hot list 2 weeks ago. It was number 10 last week. This week it made it to the top spot. It is hot now because of Modern. Turns out that Soul Spike plays very well with Necro Dominance from Modern Horizons 3, and a number of decks are running 4 copies of each. Mono Black Necro decks were all over the Pro Tour this past weekend. 2 of them made it to the top 8. Soul Spike got very hard to find online as the Pro Tour coverage went on and inventory dried up. And just like that, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. Now, if you're saying to yourself, the cards I saw today are ridiculously expensive, I want to see which cards are going down in price, we're going to do a video tomorrow looking at the top 10 cold cards. Join us then. But until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.